We're back.
Hello.
We're back. It's season 2 now.
Season
I suppose
2,
it is. Yeah.
Episode 7 if you're following.
Episode 7 if you're counting in the long run.
Yeah. But we're back.
Episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Or series 2.
Series. I think we're British.
Series. Yeah. Season. This last few weeks have been interesting.
Very interesting.
And we haven't been able to cover them because we've been in different places.
Just in case you have forgotten who we are, by the way, I'm Jack.
And I am Alex.
And you are listening to the Misled Youth Podcast.
Yeah, we should have probably mentioned
that earlier on, but
yeah.
But here we are.
Excitement has taken over us.
Excitement has taken over us. We've got a nice by-election coming on campus, which is going to be fun.
We've got a canvas for that.
So
we have been canvassing for that.
Yeah.
At least I have.
I have.
Have you?
I was on the canvassing session with you the other day.
Were you?
Yes, we were on the same team.
Were you?
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
It might just have been the postering this morning that you didn't do.
Yeah, because I was in Blackpool.
Yeah. With that job that you have.
Yeah, God.
Because you're leaving me.
Yeah. This is why we have to record on Wednesdays now. Cause
I'm not bitter at all. Anyway, so we've got a few things to talk about. We're going to delve into the month-long, possibly 2-month-long now, scandal of antisemitism in the Labour Party.
That's coming up next. Well,
coming up later, and also we've got to talk about Windrush.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
We didn't really want to, but
not particularly, but it's a huge scandal, and it gives us a chance to bash Tories, which we always want to do.
It is quite fun to bash Tories, admittedly.
Tory bashing's brilliant,
so
especially when you can defend innocent people while doing so.
Yeah, that's just double fun, really.
Excellent fun.
So yeah, Windrush.
The Windrush scandal.
Yes. So
scandal for a reason.
Yeah. So for context,
a scandal without really a reason to happen.
Yeah. So for context, after the Second World War.
Yeah.
We were broken as a country, both financially and
physically. Yeah.
So we were like, hey, Commonwealth or British Empire,
why don't you come and live in the UK and help rebuild the country?
Yeah. And the Empire were like, oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we've always been told how much of a shining beacon of light the UK is. Why not just go from my tropical paradise home?
And things aren't so great since you colonialised this country, so...
Yeah, you've kept us in a state of pretty much serfdom for the last couple of 100 years, so why not...
So yeah, we'll go over there. Fun times.
Why not be, first-class citizens for a change?
So yeah, they came to the UK.
They came to the UK.
Perfectly legally.
Here for a long time.
Yeah, perfectly legally.
A lot of these people are now retired.
Have children.
50, 60, 70. Some of them will have grandchildren.
Some have grandchildren, yeah. But yeah, so a lot of these people have had kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, whatever. They are
valuable parts of our society.
Yeah,
they have contributed a lot.
They are now multiple generations in here, because we're talking about adults at the end of the war.
Pretty much. They were young adults at the end of the war.
Yeah. And they all got their papers.
They've had their papers destroyed, basically. Their files have been destroyed by the government for seemingly no reason. They just sort of seem to have lost them in an office transfer or something.
Yeah, I've heard numerous stories.
I've had a lot of theories. I'm not sure which one's
about
true.
Exactly what happened. But basically the government don't have those files anymore.
So the Tories first, when this came out, tried to blame it on the Labour government, saying it was done before they came to power.
It wasn't.
That was a lie. And now they're trying to be nice to the Windrush generation by giving them citizenship if they have certain forms of ID, which they're not all that likely to have.
No.
And if they don't have them, they'll be deported, which is not the kind, friendly, welcoming UK that we really want to be.
Or the kind, friendly, welcoming UK we were when we invited these people.
Or the kind, friendly UK that we think we are, or that we say we are.
Yeah.
But what has happened to the Windrush generation has clearly been insensitive at best and downright racist at worst.
Yeah. Because let's not... Ow, as I bang my elbow on the table there. Let's not forget some key points here. Like, A, some of these people were born here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a lot of these people were born here. As we mentioned, there are like 3 generations of a family that were born in this country.
Mm-hmm.
These people have been here since the war, have been paying tax here since the war.
They've set up businesses.
They've
made a lot of money for our economy.
And we are now threatening these people with deportation.
Yeah. Some of them to countries they've never actually been to.
Yeah. Some of them, because my great-granddad was from Jamaica, and I can't provide these specific documents that nobody else has to provide. I don't have to provide proof that I was living at X address in 19 whatever.
It's... I mean, a lot of the reaction to it has also been less than brilliant. Because when MPs like David Lammy have tried to talk about this issue, they brought up a lot of good points, and then you just go into the Twitter mentions and it's wow, scrolling through racism after racism after racism.
I quite like David Lammy.
David Lammy's fine.
He's fine,
and nothing against him.
And he's had a lot of good stuff to say on this scandal.
Yeah.
But like you say, you then go into that tweet, you have a look at the replies to it.
Yeah, he also got a particularly bad letter.
I don't think I've read this yet.
Stop talking our country down. And
he retweeted it, didn't he?
It's the general UKIP-y tone.
Yeah, UKIP stroke
BNP.
It's
etc. There are thousands of parties like that.
Were.
Were, will be. They're all the same party.
Yeah, you can't kill the idea. Just one of them gets a bit too Nazi, and then
you get too popular. They absorb a really bad group of people. The really bad group of people gets power within the party, and then the party collapses. The vote share collapses, and they just sort of collapse back into the main parties for a bit, and then grow dissatisfied with the main parties again, and form back into a new right-wing party.
Rinse and repeat with these horrible racist people.
There was the British Union of Fascists, then there was the National Front, then there was the BNP, now there's UKIP.
Yeah.
There's some overlap between those groups, but...
Yeah, and there are some people who...
And there are some groups I've left out.
Yeah. So, ultimately, what we're dealing with here is another failure on the Tory government's part to not just grant these people who have been UK taxpayers for years,
for decades,
for decades, whose family has lived here since the war, granting them citizenship.
It shouldn't even have to be granted. It
that
should
legally,
be assumed.
That legally they are entitled to, and it's the government's fault that they can't produce these papers that was for some reason lost in some office transfer.
It is pathetic, really.
The government are asking these people to clean up the mess that they made, or face deportation to a country you may not even have visited.
They're asking them to clean up a mess that they made about a mess that they made that those people
cleaned up in the first place.
Yeah.
So there's one more topic left to talk about. We're going to get a bit... Well, Windrush is serious.
Windrush is serious, but this is something that's gone on for quite a bit longer than that.
Yeah, Windrush is a chance for us to knock the Tory government for being stupid. This is the time to take a bit of an introspective look.
Yeah, we're going to do some navel-gazing.
At our own party.
We're going to look downwards at our own belly buttons.
Yeah. This is something that during the holidays we were talking a lot about on Facebook.
Yeah, we were itching to talk about it because it was a serious problem, and we'd seen a lot of very stupid things said by a lot of people.
Yeah. Antisemitism
in Labour.
Let's talk about anti-Semitism in Labour.
So let's go back 5 years, I think it is by now, to when this supposed scandal starts.
Yeah.
Well, supposed scandal. It is a scandal.
Yeah, there's no supposed about it.
It's a scandal. So some people have discovered recently a comment on a Facebook post from about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It got away from me.
Rainbow Bauhaus, if it's not 5 years ago, but it's something like that. It's there or thereabouts.
It was a comment by Jeremy Corbyn, then just a backbench MP.
Yeah.
He commented on a post about a mural that was going to be torn down. he commented in favour of that mural staying up, or at least you could interpret that he did.
Yeah.
He said so on the grounds of, free expression, which is something that we expect of Jeremy Corbyn.
Yes,
The small problem with that mural is that it was of basically a round table of stereotypical Jews ruling the world as a new world order.
Yeah.
Basically the most anti-Semitic thing you can put on there short of a swastika.
Yeah. Or some horrible sign with...
Or just like
disgusting
a picture venerating Adolf Hitler. It's horrifically anti-Semitic, and everyone looking at that mural could see it, and so people have basically said, well, everyone can see this as anti-Semitic.
Why can't you?
So I assume that Jeremy Corbyn could too. He's not thick.
Yeah, he's not a stupid person.
So what was going through his head commenting on this? And I've asked myself this a lot.
Yeah.
What on earth were you thinking?
Like, I am a very big fan of Jeremy Corbyn. I think, Jeremy Corbyn is possibly the reason I'm a member of the Labour Party.
I mean, he is kind of for me as well. My support for Corbyn is more lukewarm.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, his ideas, if not him.
It's just the idea of moving a party that should have always really been on the left to the right, and then dragging them back again because they've lost 4 million votes over 10 years. My God, people, change your tune or you will be gone within 5.
Yeah. So it's been very hard for me over the last few months while this has all been coming out.
Yeah, last couple of months.
To juxtapose what I think about this.
Yeah, because we always knew that there was anti-Semitism in the Labour Party.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a group of people that big, there are going to be questionable views.
Yeah.
We always know that. I mean, there will be some in pretty much every group you can think of.
Yeah,
if you look at a membership survey of the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds,
you will find somebody who has a dodgy
anti-Semites
opinion.
in there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what size the overlap is in that Venn diagram, but
there will statistically
there will be
there will be some.
It's just
you take a group of more than 30 people, you will find someone with an extreme opinion.
Yeah. The thing is, we always knew that there was going to be anti-Semitism in the Labour Party.
Yeah, I was just hoping it wouldn't come from...
It's just the fact that if you're a particularly committed activist, you're going to say a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to be quite vocal. And a lot of people have been quite vocal. There are a lot of very vocal anti-Semites in the Labour Party. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people looking at those people and saying, really? Can you not? Because I understand where they're coming from. I understand that they're very mistaken in where they're coming from, because their heart, I hate to say this, but their heart is in sort of the right place. It's near the right place. The thing is that the thing that they hate is the sort of oligarchy at the top.
Yeah.
The ruling elite. The thing that we rail against in Labour all the time.
Mm-hmm. The
establishment, the 1%, if you will, because we view ourselves as fighting against that. The problem comes when you associate that ruling elite with a particular ethnic or religious group, which these people have.
That's their mistake. That's their mistake.
It's a mistake that goes back a long way.
Yeah,
it's a mistake that goes back before Nazism, probably since as long as there have been Jews.
Yes.
Pretty much since as long as there have been Jews, they've been pushed around quite a lot in history. Depends how many times, based on what you do or do not believe is a credible historical source.
Yeah.
So obviously, you can see where they've gone wrong.
Yeah, they are trying to push this socialist idea of taking down the establishment, stopping them, controlling everything, but they're aiming it at the wrong people.
Yeah, and another angle for this is also the way that socialists have, for a long time, been anti-imperial.
Yeah,
and the way we see ourselves as being anti-imperial is looking at conflicts around the world and seeing who is oppressing who.
Yeah.
And when we look at, for instance, Palestine, we see a lot of Palestinian people seemingly being oppressed.
Yeah.
And the only force that we can see in there oppressing them is the Israeli Defense Force.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of the problems here arise.
Like, it's perfectly fine to criticise the actions of the Israeli government.
Yes, as it is perfectly fine to criticise the actions of any government.
I can criticise the actions of the Ugandan government if I want to. I can criticise the actions, and do criticise the actions, very often, of the American government and of the British government. Yeah. We do this all the time.
Heck.
The problem comes when you move past the government policy aspect of it into
what the people believe,
people
religious
behind it. You're not attacking what they believe and what they do anymore. You're attacking who they are.
Yeah,
You're
attacking identities here.
Yeah. So, a lot of people were very annoyed about Jeremy Corbyn's comment. A lot of very angry questions were asked. Some of them not in a particular respectful way.
But that's their right.
Yeah, that's always going to happen. Again, it's a big group with a lot of questions.
It's free speech, isn't it? At the end of the day, as much as we don't like it.
So Corbyn puts out a statement after being attacked and defended from various wings of the Labour Party. You could tell who was going to defend him and who was going to attack him beforehand, because
the battle lines were drawn long before.
The battle lines have been drawn since
he won.
Since Militant, really.
Yeah.
Since the 1980s, the battle lines have been drawn.
And specifically for Corbyn, the battle lines have been drawn ever since he won the first leadership election.
Yeah, but Corbyn was a part of this battle long before he was leader. Of course. He was a councillor in London with Ken Livingstone and with John McDonnell in the 80s before he became an MP. Mm-hmm. And I can just sort of feel you tense up at the mention of Ken Livingstone there.
Yeah.
Because you can tell where this is going. Ken Livingstone is also someone who, despite having perfectly acceptable views in a lot of places...
In 99% of places.
I used to quite like him.
Yeah.
But he did say something that was not just stupid and factually incorrect, but horrifically anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
He was suspended from the Labour Party, but not expelled.
He should have been expelled. That's what we're saying.
And that's what a lot of people have been saying. We're kind of rare in the fact that we're on the left of the Labour Party generally, but we're not supporting these anti-Semites generally.
Because we're not anti-Semites.
Because it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't care if I agree with you on every other issue. You can't be an anti-Semite and earn my respect.
No.
So that leaves us with a problem. We both respect Jeremy Corbyn, but he's the one that started this whole row.
Yeah. Now, to his credit,
he has tried to do a lot of things.
He's made the big speech saying...
He made the statement. He offered to meet with Jewish groups to see what could be done, and it seemed to sort of die down. Then Passover happened.
Oh, Jeremy. Jeremy.
No, this was not Jeremy Corbyn's fault. I refuse to believe that this part was Jeremy Corbyn's fault. Because Jeremy Corbyn decided to spend Passover, the Seder festival, with...
Excellent pronunciation there.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but that's what it's spelt like, so I'm going to go with it. Seder. It could be Seder, it could be something entirely different, it could be Cheddar.
Correct us in the comments.
No idea. So he decided to spend that feast with a Jewish group from his constituency. He even brought his own beetroot from his allotment, which they seemed to quite like.
I rate that.
The problem was that this Jewish group was unorthodox.
That's putting it lightly.
The name of this group is Judas. So Judas, as in the traitor
betrayer
guy. Yeah, but spelt Jew. DAS.
As in,
because it's a clever pun. I rate that pun. Well done. The problem with these people is that they're anti-Israeli.
Yeah.
In many ways, they're against the policies of the government.
Which, as previously mentioned, is not anti-Semitism.
They also have a lot of problems with major Jewish groups in the UK.
Yeah.
So.
Mainly because of their issues.
Because of their support for Likud and Netanyahu and his quite far-right policies. So it came to light some people pointed it out, and some people were not best pleased that Jeremy Corbyn seemed to be mocking them by saying, "All right, fine, I see your point. I will go and have some food on a holy Jewish festival with a Jewish group from my constituency, but there's a catch.
Yeah,
I'm going to make them the most disagreeable group
yeah.
that you can think of."
But obviously all that's really done is kind of fueled this idea that Jeremy Corbyn's basically taking the mick with these big Jewish groups.
I'm sure that's not what Jeremy Corbyn was trying to do. Well, I'm not sure. I'm going to hope that it was not what he was trying to do.
We should give him the benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt. But a few right-wing Labour MPs were not pleased about this. One of them in particular being Barrowford SNP Jonathan Woodcock.
Oh, Jonathan Woodcock.
He's so far right. He's basically a Tory, in all but name.
Yeah, Tory in a red tie.
I can't think of anything that he's ever said that was left-wing that I've heard. There might be something, but I can't think of it. No. He's further right than most of the Lib Dems.
Mm. Probably further right than some Tories.
He's further right than Justine Greening.
Yeah.
She'll lose her seat in the next general election. It's a bit of a shame, actually.
Is it?
I mean, she's further left than all the other Tories I've ever seen. So this action of going to see his Jewish constituents, of going to see Judas, that was seen by a lot of these people as anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Which at that point made me switch my views entirely. Because up until that point, I'd been with them. I was really questioning Jeremy Corbyn on his anti-Semitism.
And then he met with Jewish people, and people called it anti-Semitic.
Yes, which just went... It just made me think, okay, so what you're actually doing here is you don't actually care whether or not he's trying to be anti-Semitic or whether or not he's trying to change his ways.
You've got your agenda.
You've clearly got your own agenda that you're trying to push, and that is an anti-Corbyn agenda. Because now what you're doing is calling Jewish people anti-Semitic.
That doesn't work.
That's not... I mean, unless you can prove it, unless you can find them making Nazi jokes at each other to try and bully each other, why would you...
Yeah, that's...
You can't call this anti-Semitic. No. Because it isn't anti-Semitic.
It's completely oxymoronic.
It just seemed to be the same old story of the right wing, the media and the establishment, the things that Corbyn rails against all the time, just attacking him over whatever they could find. And I was really annoyed at that.
Yeah. I was kind of in the same boat with you. I was in a position where I'm thinking, I might have to seriously reconsider my support for this man.
Yeah, so was I. And then it was just, well, you're not taking this seriously. Because while, yes, some Jews may not have been particularly impressed by his decision to spend time with Judas in particular, that still counts. It still counts as him trying to be more friendly to the Jewish community. So... as a result of that backlash, Judas went from about 700 followers on Twitter to over 10,000.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
I'm one of them as well.
Yeah.
They're very funny. I do like them. They're very funny. But they support Palestine in the fight against some serious oppression that is going on.
Again, as previously mentioned, that is not anti-Semitism.
No, it's not. If I said that the Palestinians were oppressed just for having to live with such awful people as Jewish people,
that is anti-Semitism.
That would be horrifically anti-Semitic.
Obviously you don't mean that. I
should clarify, I am not saying that it's an example.
Yeah.
And I know, before anyone sounds off in the comments, that Palestinians have done bad things too.
We don't have enough people for people to sound off in the comments.
That's true. It just appeared that these people were not taking Jeremy Corbyn seriously.
No.
And they were deliberately not taking him seriously. And recently Corbyn met with, I think it's the Jewish Board of Deputies, something like that.
Yeah, are they
the people who claim to basically represent all Jews in the UK.
Yeah. They don't, but they claim to.
They don't, but they claim to. So they have basically given him a list of demands that once met would mean that they would stop pursuing it. I don't think that these demands were serious. I don't think that they were ever expected to get all of them or even many of them. But it just seemed to be that they were deliberately asking things of Corbyn that he couldn't do, that he didn't have the power to do.
If at this point you have heard some screaming.
Yeah, there are some very drunk people.
Yeah, we are recording this at 10:15 on a Wednesday night, which is
it's sort of party night.
Yeah, it's sort of party night for Lancaster. So if you did just hear some screaming over that, we apologise.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things in there that I'm kind of annoyed aren't being taken into serious consideration, like adopting the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which I have looked through in detail and found very little problem with.
I've looked through and found pretty much no problem with.
I mean, there is, I think, maybe a small bit where if you were criticising the foundation of Israel and the motives of foundation of Israel as a state in 1948, I think it was.
Rainbow Bauhaus, if it's not.
I think it is. Then that might be considered anti-Semitic, even though I'm not criticising Jewish people when I say that I don't think they should really have done it in that way, if at all. I think the main problem with that was with just like boating in a lot of Jewish people into a small area all at once, basically. Of course, I know what those people had been through.
Yeah.
I'm not a Holocaust denier.
No, that's the thing, is we've got to understand.
I know the stories of those people were stories of being oppressed, having their families killed, and a lot of stuff that I don't really want to talk about because it makes me uncomfortable. But the answer, I don't think was a good one that we came up with, to just send them all back to the place where they seem to have the most history, and just seemingly completely ignore the people that were already living there.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
of course that was going to cause conflict. How could we not see that was going to cause conflict?
That is my biggest gripe with that.
Because this decision was taken without any...
No, it was rash. Because
without any consideration of what the people that already lived there and had lived there for centuries and centuries actually felt about the decision.
Because arguably people say it had to be rash because the decision had to be made because they weren't safe.
Yes, I know that, I understand that, but the decision really, for me, I think a better option would have been to just make the societies that Jewish people already lived in more accepting of Jewish people, rather than just creating an artificial state based on one quality that you think is important and that other people might not think is important, because this is a state that was built for people with the Jewish religion. Now, I have a lot of problems with having a state for any religion, because I don't think that states should be formed on the basis
separation of church and state is very important to both of us.
Yeah.
But obviously it's a big part of...
It's a big part of who they are. And I understand that.
Okay.
I'm not telling them not to follow their religion, because that's not my place. And I'm not going to just tell someone not to follow their own belief system. But the problem comes when you're forcing that government onto somebody else who doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Who just wants to have their own peaceful existence
that they've had for generations and generations and generations.
Yeah. So this might have to be cut down quite a bit.
Possibly.
Because we're running on.
We are now running on 45 minutes.
But it's a long story.
It takes a lot of explanation.
There's a lot of back and forth and conflict and atrocities committed by both sides.
Yeah.
And that's a cliche, and I know that, but
it's true.
I can't help it. It's true.
The cliche is unavoidable.
Yeah, I can't avoid the fact that Israel have bombed Palestinian homes. I can't avoid the fact that Israel have basically invaded Palestinian land and built their own homes there. I can't avoid the fact that people in Gaza have launched rockets at Israeli houses and hospitals and schools, I can't avoid the fact that Israeli children have been murdered by Palestinians and vice versa. I can't avoid those things. Those things are all true.
So when we say atrocities on both sides, we're not
just trying to minimise this issue. There have been atrocities
and we are
committed by both sides.
And we are well aware of all those atrocities when we're talking about this. And to be honest, we're not going to reach an answer here.
No, we can't.
We're not
just
going to
say
solve
that two teenagers in some small part of the UK have the solution to the biggest conflict in the history of the world. No. I'm not even going to try, because I know that I would fail.
What we're doing, I think, by discussing this, is stopping having a go at the Tories, having a go at everybody else, and actually look at ourselves.
Yeah, and to stop this issue from just becoming an ordinary factional partisan issue.
Yeah.
Like it always will become if we don't do something about it.
Yeah. So here is our attempt at doing something about it. That has been our attempt at doing something about it.
The main conclusion we're coming to here is, when there is an issue that comes up, even if it's a thorny one like anti-Semitism, try and think about the issue more objectively.
Yeah.
And less factionally.
Yeah. Take yourself out of your belief system.
Yes.
Well,
what you should do basically is take all of your opinions, put them in a little box, and carry those opinions around with you. And if at some point one of those opinions is challenged and you find that you can no longer hold that opinion, don't defend it to within an inch of your dying breath.
Change it.
That's probably a bit of a spoonerism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't defend it until you die. Don't make it your hill to die on. Just take the little slip of paper out of your box
and change it.
Cross it out, write your new one, put it back in. It's a much healthier way to live. Right. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you again next week.
Next Sunday.
Yep. This has been.
No, we won't. We're doing 2 weeks.
Are we again?
I think.
Don't think we've got that much on our plates.
No. We'll see.
We'll see when we next talk to you. You'll know because we'll be talking to you. Until then, I have been Alex.
And I have been Jack, who's doing his own outros. This has been the Misled Youth Podcast. I'm taking the whole thing.
Oh no.
Bye-bye.